Hello again, this is Kenny Fikes, your host of the iKnowMedia Roundtable, where we bring you conscientious clarity through both reasoned application and analysis. How are you guys today?
Good. Hey guys, I'm Elisa Simmons. I'm a Montessori guide from East Texas, and I'm looking forward to another conversation with the new crew.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Ellis. I live in Houston. I have 3 children. I'm a physician and glad to be here with these wonderful people.
Great. So today, more of a hodgepodge of keeping the conversation alive and keeping it going, even though we are, as Chris Rock would say, tied. For those who don't know Chris Rock, that means tired. I've quoted Marvin Gaye saying, "What's going on? Mercy, mercy me." There are also some words, some lyrics to one of those songs, and he says, "Makes me want to holler, throw up both my hands." So our POTUS is now talking about staying in office if he doesn't like the results of the election. It's not funny, but I just couldn't help laugh at it because you got to admit there's some humor in that. It's so crazy. But once again, there are things that have happened in the last 3 years that if you've been told ahead of time were going to happen, you'd say, absolutely no way that can happen in the White House, in the office of the President of the United States. But it's happened. And so as outstandingly crazy and out of the realm as it seems, or unrealistic, that a man in the White House, or if there were a woman, a person in the White House as the President of the United States, could challenge the results of a democratic election and try and hold on power, as crazy as that sounds. I believe he'd do it. He's shown it. Think about if your entire life you've been a person who's lied, cheated, done what you wanted to do, not paid your contractors, been a racist, been misogynist, done all the things that this man has done. And let me tell you, we teach our kids that doesn't get you very far, don't we? Well, where's it gotten him? It's gotten him to the White House. So if you believe for a minute that he wouldn't try and exercise this stuff, I've got a bridge to sell you close to where Jay grew up. So Jay, you probably didn't want to talk about this because you're tired like we all are. And I think your sentiment was, if people are still going to support Donald Trump after all we've been through, then there's no changing them. But I reminded you, as you do remember, but you're frustrated with this man, that's not our goal. We're not going to flip those people anyway. What we don't want to do is throw up our hands. Makes me want to holler, throw up both my hands, as Marvin Gaye said, and stop, because then we have participated in normalizing it. And then he can do what he's doing quietly. What do you think, Jay?
You know what? I'm tired of the fact that we've been right. That makes any sense. I remember when he was elected and thinking, I think a lot of this was predictable. I think it was very, very predictable. If you knew anything about him, and if you watched him in his debates and you saw that he didn't mind throwing out a blatant lie in a debate. He did not mind slandering people publicly, like just outright slander. He was never getting checked on that. But when he did get checked about things, he didn't care. When he won the election, we knew that we were dealing with somebody who was not going to be easily managed. He's proven that he cannot be managed. We had a 5-star general trying to manage him. He was unsuccessful at that. So I think, and he's very childish. We saw that even before the election, if you kind of knew anything about him in New York City. But if you just watch The Apprentice, like, why would you want that person on The Apprentice to run the country? So I think all of it is just very predictable, but it is, again, it's very exhausting. This that just came out about his taxes, we pretty much knew, because he wouldn't reveal them. So we knew there had to be something either completely criminal in those taxes, or he hadn't paid much of any. And then that would be upsetting to the American public, because otherwise, why not just show us your taxes? So we pretty much knew this, but hearing it still just viscerally makes you so upset that this person in the White House is such a hypocrite that he doesn't really seem to do anything really with the best interest of the nation in mind. And he just doesn't seem to care at all. He doesn't care if anyone is upset or offended. In fact, he probably enjoys it because he enjoys the negative attention. But for us as citizens, you get tired of being right. You know, there was a point where I would start saying to the people I know who supported Trump, see, I told you he's going to do that. I told you so. I told you so. And while I very much like being right, like all the time, I didn't want to be right all the time with this. I just wish that there could be something that goes on where I'm just like, I'm so glad it wasn't what I thought it would be. I'm tired of seeing all the things we thought would come to fruition. And it is very concerning because there are some other things that we know could easily happen between now and the election, or between now and January 1st. And we know that we could easily find ourselves in the midst of a full out and out race war. This is possible. This is almost likely. And I'm just hoping that we're not right about that.
Well, I don't want to shoot anyone, but I hope you're not right about it either, because they bought up all the damn ammunition. It sounds funny, but I'm telling you the truth, it's hard to get. They're now telling you, not that I ever went to buy more than 5 boxes at a time, recreational shooting, but now if you go to a gun range, at least here locally, Knoxville, Tennessee, they'll tell you your limit is 5 boxes of ammo. And depending upon what you're shooting, like I have a 38, there's like 20 in the boxes I buy. The gun I bought for my daughter is a 9mm. I think there's 24 or 25 in that one. So you buy 5 boxes, you've got, 125 rounds. People used to buy as many as they could. I was going to practice with my AR-15s that last Saturday. They had no rounds, none. I have to get it on allowance. So people are buying them up, and all these, I've said it on the show before to you guys, all these guys with the trucks and the ATVs, I'm like, where in the hell are y'all going? Y'all just driving around in the woods? Are you practicing for something? Like, what's going on? Like, they've kept the secret if there's something going on. And I've always felt that Steve Bannon had a lot to do with it. What do you think, Elisa?
Well, there's that saying, and it messed Robert E. Lee up, but it was that God, country, and family. But during Robert E. Lee's time, it was God, country, state, family. And that's what messed him up and got him to go. Because at first he didn't think the succeeding was a good idea. But my original point was, luckily in my family, my father very much believes God, family. So he has a huge amount of ammunition. So if it comes down to it, I've got somewhere I can go if it gets there. I hope it doesn't, but I do feel safe going there with that ammunition. I think that when Trump very first was running, I completely knew, and I told my husband, I was like, he's going to win, right? Because we love reality show TV. We knew him from there. People had this. It was I think so many people thought it was going to be this fun, relaxing, like, it's going to be, he's going to say off the wall, crazy stuff, but he's a businessman. It's going to be okay. Don't even worry. I don't think though that the people I know that I would now consider Trumpers originally thought Trump would do what he's done now or inspire what he's inspired now. I think if hindsight was, something we could go and take care of at the time, I wish I would have asked the people I knew who were supporting Trump, if they tell me where your line is. What, for the people I know personally, where's your line of acceptability? Because I remember for some of them saying, I don't really care about it, what his tax return says, because he made so much money, he had to pay a lot of money. Well, if that was your line in the sand, I'm going to need you to step back over. He's not racist. I know he said some things, but, Biden said some things. He's not racist. Well, he shared a white supremacy video, white power video. So if that was your line, I'm going to need you to step over. Because I think so many of them have just got on board on feeling protective over the chief, and that's patriotic. You're supposed to stand up for the president. That a lot of Trump supporters I know have stepped back from the morals I've witnessed them personally having. And I think that they might want to go have a moment in the mirror and ask themselves if they've allowed their team camaraderie, that's not the right word,
Let me jump in and ask you a question. I'm not interrupting you to stop. I
Go.
want you to
No, yeah, go for it.
question.
Yeah.
Did you witness these people personally having these morals, or did you never see those morals challenged, actually?
Oh, I've witnessed them. I can think of 5 Trump supporters right now who I have witnessed them standing up for things that are racist, standing up for things that are morally wrong. I've witnessed these 5 that I'm thinking of do just above and beyond good human beings. And I think that if I would have asked them this question and used it now, I think that they would probably have an aha moment. I think if they realized how much of a team player they've become rather than what they're true to their God, I think that they would be ashamed of themselves if they were able to watch the video of their support in hindsight.
Gotcha.
So, and I think that's where a lot of them, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kenny.
No, it's fine. Yeah, people like to be on winning teams and they make excuses for it. And when they get busted on the excuses, they'll say, oh, yeah, whatever, and then move on. Yeah. They may not use the word whatever, but that's what they're doing. You hit on something important. You talked about reality TV and Trump getting in there. There's a difference. There's been presidents, this line of thinking, this line comes to my mind where people rode sort of new technology, not technology, but new wave things, pun intended, because I'm going to say radio with FDR. So FDR rode the radio waves with the fireside chats. No president had been able to take advantage of radio like that and reach the country in the way that FDR reached the country to personalize himself and his ideas through fireside chats with radio. And then John F. Kennedy did it with TV. No president had been able to do it with TV before. TV was newer. And so John F. Kennedy, being handsome and whatnot, showed his charisma and personality. He was all over the TV, and that helped put him in the White House. And then came along Barack Obama. And Barack Obama used that sort of small, now you see other people doing it, $5, $10, $15, and he used social media in a way that it had never been done before. It was still relatively new in that sense. And his campaign figured out how to do it. Well, then you got Donald Trump, so close on the heels of that one. And Trump used reality TV. The difference is it wasn't about truth. It was about the production. There was a movie some years back, and I think it was Dustin Hoffman, called The Dog Wagging the Tail or The Tail Wagging the Dog or something like that. It was well done. And so FDR with the radio, it still was about truth, whether you like him or not. Kennedy, whether you like him or not, it was about truth. It was about this new medium to push in to the American households. With Obama, it was about this medium of social media to push into the household. With Donald Trump, it was about the production and line and just putting on a show. So it was important that you mentioned that. I wanted to go through that little sort of list of things. Jay, what are your thoughts in terms of when you say, how does a guy not nurture something? How does a guy love something if he doesn't nurture it? What are you talking about there?
Well, I think when we look at the things that we care about, whether that's our children, our pets, our careers, part of why we love those things is we become invested. We invest something in them. That might be our money, that might be our time, that's our physical energy, our emotional energy. And the more that we invest, the more personal investments we make, the more we feel strongly about those things that we're caring for. And that's just how things work. When I look at the fact that Donald Trump hasn't paid taxes in 10 of the last 15 years, and that the year that he ran for president of the United States, he paid a grand total of $750. And in his first year in office, he paid that. I have a really hard time imagining that he truly cares for this country. Because if you care for this country, you want to see it function well. You want to see it do well. And you know that we need money for it to function. We know that money comes from the taxpayers. How can you feel good about yourself when you make as much and have as much money as you have, and you did everything you could to circumvent having to pay any taxes? I don't care that it was legally done. I'm sure it was legally done. I'm sure it probably can't be challenged, but that's not the point. How dare you run for president of a country that you wanted to invest not 1 cent of your personal money in. And I think that Trump supporters need to think about what that means. I don't want to hear, oh, well, he did it because he's smart and he's clever. He did it because he's wealthy and he has people who could figure out how to help him do it. But he could do it and sleep at night because he really doesn't give a damn about the country. That's like me deciding that I'm just not going to spend any of my money on my kid. You know, try to figure out, get somebody else to pay for what my kid needs. I'm going to keep my money for me. How do I do that and say that I love my child? So it is just that basic. But I will say that when it comes to the reality show, the idea of that, yeah, we are enthralled and enamored with people who are wealthy. And you know, we are willing to waste a whole lot of time watching them. So I'm just going to say it, like, I talk to my daughter about this all the time. I'm like, Kim Kardashian, like, don't talk to me about her. I think she's smart and shrewd and she's done really well for herself. But I'm like, why do you care what she does? As Americans, the fact that we become so enthralled with reality show stars says a lot about who we are and what our values are. And if that could be something that impacted this last election, and I very much believe that it did, we need to check ourselves. We need to really consider what is important. And on top of this, we picked a reality show star who was obnoxious on the show. He wasn't nice on the show. Part of why people like him is because he was firing people. Well, what the hell's wrong with you that you like to watch people get fired? You got a problem, right? And so as Americans, we bought into that. And then we started to glorify the bad behavior. There are some of us, many of us who are appalled by it, but others who think it's mighty fine. But what I would say to those people is, this is the litmus test if you're not sure whether or not you're racist. Watch Donald Trump and you can applaud everything he does. And then think to yourself, if that was Barack Obama doing that, would I be here clapping? Would I be here saying, oh, this okay, he's just smart enough to do this. If I was smart enough to do it, I would do it. That's the litmus test. That's how you figure out if it's about race. Because there are a lot of people who I'm certain would have had hissy fits to know that Obama had done what Trump has done. There is no way that man would have been allowed to even take office without showing some taxes. Hell, he had to show his birth certificate, which was ridiculous. And at the behest of this fool, Donald Trump. Yet, as Americans, we didn't say we need to see your taxes. Shame on us. He's awful, but we're bad for putting ourselves in a position to become mistreated and to allow our nation to be mistreated and neglected by this narcissist. We did that.
I agree. You talk about reality shows and we need to check ourselves on what we watch, and you talk to your daughter about it. I'm definitely old school on this stuff. And so if the litmus test was to say who I am, I'm in pretty good shape based on what you're saying, because I don't know who anyone is. I've never seen The Apprentice. And when people talk about reality show people or how, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Who is that? And I don't know any of it. So I guess I'm doing all right on that. Elisa, I'm going to throw some words out to you, just some little things, some points, and just tell me what you get from it. How far is too far with Donald Trump? What's going on with the Constitution? What about his taxes? Civil war. Do you think he wants a civil war? You touch that stuff or something different? What do you think?
Well, remember it was so interesting during the 2016 campaign. Does anybody remember what one of his biggest arguments were about illegal immigrants? Is that they didn't pay what? They didn't pay taxes? Well, come to find out, most illegal immigrants pay more taxes than his happy orange self did. And so it's like, how is that your argument against them? I think, though, that Jay, when you were saying the would you accept that from Barack Obama, I think what you're failing to realize is that a lot of people that have microaggressions or have micro-racist aggressions do not realize that they do. And so they would say, well, that would be fine if he did it legally. They would be like, it's not about Barack Obama. Yeah, fine. You know, and they would not see that was that made them racist. They wouldn't be able to accept that. They wouldn't accept it from him. You have, just like if you take it to Michelle, like people acted like Michelle Obama was this super aggressive woman, but then Melania is the classiest first lady since Jackie O, but we have a vagina picture. Like, how did Michelle lose classiness but we could see this woman's vagina. And I think when it comes to the Constitution, though, there's so many things that are unethical that so many people are not holding this administration accountable for, that it goes to question, is it what I go back to over and over, are you on a team? Because your team is supposed to be America. Like, you're supposed to want to represent America. If your team, Donald Trump, at this point, he has done so much disrespectful things. If you don't know about it or want to hear it, call me. If you have my phone number, call me. I will talk to you point by point. That is so un-American. His supporters, the Republican Senate leaders have done so many hypocritical, non-American things that our forefathers would throw up at them, and these guys own slaves. Like, they would think they went too far. And so I think that we have to, at some point, you got to take a deep breath and go, maybe I've hidden myself in this bubble of Trumpness because I'm going to stand up for the president because I'm Team Trump. And ask yourself if you're losing who you are, because Trump is never coming to your house for dinner, but your Black friends or your friends that aren't racist, or your Hispanic friends or your Asian friends or your Jewish friends might not come to your house for dinner because of your support of this man.
So, yeah, that same comparison with if it were Obama versus Trump, I think that hit some square in the eyes. I lost my little train of thought for a second there on one of those comparisons, but the fact that he's not, you said it's not about Obama. If you guys have noticed, the answer used to 70% of the things that were thrown at Donald Trump used to be Obama or Clinton or, Benghazi or Obama spied on my campaign. What I see transitioning now is he doesn't even have to pretend that it's some fake made up political thing. You see, he's not for anything. He's always against something. What can you hate? What can you rail against? He used to rail against Obama and Clinton all the time. Now he's just throwing out the dog whistles to say, brown people, we don't like them. You can be violent against them. You can wear the Confederate flags. You have good genetics. He's like going all in on this. He doesn't need Obama and Clinton to hate anymore. He's just saying, we're team Make America Great Again. And wink, wink, you know what I mean by that. What do you think, Jay?
I think that he does all of that. But I do think that right now, and as I mentioned on the last show, I think that he's a little bit afraid. So I think we're going to see more extreme behavior. Something that I actually consider extreme is the Platinum Plan. Melissa alluded to that, the Platinum Plan. So for anyone watching the show, if you don't know what the Platinum Plan is, Donald Trump has come up with a platform to save Black America, and he called it his Platinum Plan. So I don't know about you, but I think when I think of the Platinum Plan, I think of there's a car wash near my house. And when you go in there, you can either pay for individual services or you could get the Platinum Plan, right? Which allows you to come back limitless times and get, the undercarriage done and your tires waxed. And so, like, as a Black person, I don't really want to be treated like a car you take to the car wash. We don't need a Platinum Plan. We need the human plan. We need the human plan that everybody else will get. That's what we're saying. And what's particularly disturbing about this, besides just what it is named, is that, like, suddenly you decided that Black people are in need. Like, suddenly you just recognize that we have all of these issues that deserve to be addressed. What was going on these last almost 4 years? And it is so insincere. The saddest thing about it is that that there will be Black people who might actually fall for that nonsense. And they don't even seem to think that if voted into office, he's not going to do any of that, because he really doesn't think that it's that important. Right now, he's desperate for more votes. That's what he wants. And so he's willing to lie. He's willing to make promises he would never even try to fulfill. That's scary, and it's repugnant. It's absolutely disgusting that he would use the Black platform at this time when he's had so many months to get behind Black people and support their rights. And suddenly you come up with a Platinum Plan and we're supposed to be happy.
Is the platinum plan the plan where everybody can get a grill?
Right there. And a chain.
Yeah.
And a chain.
All right. Well, I couldn't resist that one. It's been a good show talking about Jay's Uncle Donald. And so until next time, same bat place, same bat channel, and maybe Michael will be with us next time. Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.